So I think the problem with Kenyans is you're so distanced from international news, whether by design, whether by accident. Mostly it's by design because the media deliberately obscure some of these facts and details when they are running with when they are splashing their major headlines. They will deliberately omit some dots when they are connecting to their story. So this is the game that is being played internationally. If you've noticed, in March at some time, President Emmanuel Macron of France landed in Kinshasa. The sentiment in Western Francophone countries is that now they are tired of the French. They are tired of the overbearing French presence in Africa, how they've been looting and plundering the economy. That's the sentiment right now in Francophone Africa. So by the time Macron was landing in Kinshasa, they were even spray painting the walls of the French embassy in DRC's capital. When they were hosting, there was a press conference between Felix Tshisekedi and Emmanuel Macron. They were almost coming to blows because of the allegations that France and of course the Western nations are the ones who are funding President Paul Kagame of Rwanda to fund rebels called M23, who are very active especially in the eastern part of Congo, where they are engaged in a lot of extracting minerals and selling them, stealing minerals from Congo, from the Greater Congo. So those were the allegations at the time, and so the mood right now of Emmanuel Macron is not very popular within Francophone West Africa, Central Africa region because of that historical colonial history, and then now because of the M23 factor in Congo. Now Emmanuel Macron has to start grooming and propping a new crop of dictators, propping up a new crop of dictators so as to continue the French legacy of looting and plundering the continent with reckless abandon. And now there is a guy, I don't know whether you've ever seen his podcast. It's called Rutendo. He's a Zimbabwean guy. I think he's based in South Africa. He talks very much about Kagame as the cause of destabilization in Africa, saying that Kagame was, first of all, he was groomed by America. He went to that military school is it in Florida or somewhere? And then now he's the one who engineered the deaths of the Congolese, of the Burundian and Rwandan president at the time. They were coming from an African Union summit. Their planes collided and crashed. I don't know what. It was a long story which led to the genocide where 1 million people died. And so they're saying he engineered that. And then they're saying even now that, he's part of obviously funding the M23 rebels to continue pillaging the resources of DRC. So if you remember when Ruto was elected, there was a lot of pro-Congo sentiment. Of course, we have some companies in Congo who are doing roaring business. Equity Bank is big in DRC. So, and then he made a visit sometime in November last year to DRC, met, and even I think there was a delegation of businessmen who accompanied him. Then there were peacekeepers from Kenya who went to, of course, the Eastern DRC, trying to support, to bolster local military presence against the M23 rebels, who seem to be very well funded, very well equipped. That's why there is constant peacekeeping missions. At the time, by the time the Kenyan military was arriving in DRC, people were clapping for them. They are like, "Oh, you've come to save us. You've come to liberate us." And people were happy that Kenya is taking a lead. I think even Uhuru Kenyatta did some trips to Goma, peacekeeping mission and whatnot. Then suddenly, I don't know, the reports are that Kenya stopped funding the peacekeeping mission in DRC. Why did they stop funding? Oh, apparently, Ruto was called or was invited to Rwanda by Kagame. And they went to Kigali. I think he went sometime in April. He went there. He was told, "You now, what are you doing? You just funga macho wewe, let's do sharas. He was told, let's do sharas. This is a lot of sharas. This is gold. You know gold is hot cake, especially here in Kanairo. You know JKIA is you, if you're passing your gold through JKIA, just forget about it. So he was told, you, what are you doing here, bana? Here there is sharas. So apparently they stopped funding. So, and at some point there came allegations that the Kenyan military it's almost like when the M23 rebels were striking the civilians, the Kenyan military was just there. They were not doing anything. They were not defending them, defending the locals. So the same locals who had celebrated the entry of Kenyan peacekeepers in DRC, they started now saying Kenya must go. Don't forget that Ruto has also burnt bridges with Sudan. I saw a very prominent Sudanese, is it a lawyer, Sudanese lawyer saying that they should boycott Kenyan products because I don't know what Ruto has been doing. You know, we are also trying to keep up with everything that is happening because things are happening fast. So now what, you know, those are the dynamics that are happening, and now Macron has seen in William Ruto, he's seen a perfect puppet, because Ruto has always been, you know, pro-West. Of course, the rhetoric sounds and it's packaged in a certain type of way to make you think that he's fighting a holy war. He's fighting a jihad against debt colonialism in the continent, and so the rest of Africans are now hailing him. They are calling him Gaddafi. He's the I saw another guy saying, Kenyans, please don't let go of this president. You know, people are so easily swayed by curated TikToks where they capture, and you know, there are no numbers to back that up, because I think the Zambian president went with tangibles. He said, I got in this office when the inflation was here, and now is at here. Now look at us, our currency, you know, the rates and everything. Those are our issues. But when you go and speak about debt, I don't know, de-dollarization, what nonsense are you talking about? That's not our concern. Those are issues where they are planning a one world government, we start getting these central bank digital currencies. They have their own agenda. You go there, you've just aligned yourself with an agenda, but that's not what I think Kenyans want. Kenyans want other issues as related to international relations, as relates to how we engage the business, how we are immigrating. Those are the things he should be saying, instead of talking about debt, because debt is procured in Kenya for big projects. These big projects is where corruption, budgeted corruption, where they steal money, they siphon money by inflating contracts. So he's talking about loans because he wants a special provision to be given for new, fresh loans over and above the ones that the government is claiming that we have based on non-existent projects. So he wants a new provision by triggering an some sentiment that borders on debt relief, so that now we participate or we qualify for new loans, and then now they'll be allocated for big projects. Murkomen is already lining up entrepreneurs. You know them. You can see Yamune Wankas are lining up. You can already see the 11 companies associated with people like Mary Wamboi, the Communications Authority of Kenya, that she has been associated with these people who are importing cooking oil. Her companies also are doing the fiber optic cables. It's all about the corruption. The new wave of corruption in Africa is tethered, is associated with big projects, and big projects are funded by donors. And these donors know that even when they are giving the money, it's going to be stolen. But it's a big cartel. So even the donors there, even their representatives in the country, even them, they are and outside also, they are also getting a cut. This is a big cartel. And the Muzungus are the most corrupt people. They are even more corrupt than Africans. Only that their corruption does not affect, everyday life. They don't steal money meant for their hospitals, for their schools, but they still steal nonetheless. The problem with Africans is they steal everything, even money allocated for baby food. If it was there, they would steal it. So So our issue, our priority is not big projects. Our priority right now is corruption, is capital flights. Those guys who are hiding money in foreign banks, it's in the trillions. If that money was repatriated to our country, it would do wonders. Yeah. So that's why, please don't get angry at me. Just be more alert to global affairs.